welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to talk about Thredup. This is my very first video I've done on Thredup in a long time. I actually have done, now that I'm thinking about it, I've done quite a few Thredup videos, but all of the videos that I have done were years ago. So today we're going to be talking about 5 things that you can do in order to increase how much money you're making on Thredup. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you stay tuned. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I make a lot of reseller content. I am a mother of 5 girls, or there's 5 girls in the house, and my boyfriend's oldest daughter doesn't live with us. So we're busy around here. We have a lot going on, and I am a full-time reseller as well as a stay-at-home mom. So anyways, if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when I post new videos. I like to make videos about once a week on this content. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So like I said, we're gonna be talking about how to increase your income over on Thredup. So I know a lot of people have been talking about Thredup in the reseller community recently. It's kind of blown up, and there's been a lot of new information kind of circling around, and they've changed the way that they've done things recently as well. So I have been selling on Thredup since it started. Actually, I don't know if any of you will remember this, but Thredup actually started as a box swapping service for moms where you could exchange like medium-sized flat rate boxes of children's clothing. You just say like the gender and the size, and then you could trade it for another size. That's how it started, and I was on there way back then. So I've been on Thredup for a really, really long time. I used to sell just my own clothing and my kids' clothing to Thredup, and I would make, you know, maybe $10 a bag. It was like my high bags, you know, it was really, really low amount that they used to pay out. And then I started, once I was starting reselling, I started sending old inventory or mistakes that I was like, I don't want this in my closet, I would send to them. But recently I have a new strategy, and that is what I wanted to share with you guys. So I know I'm gonna get asked this, so I just will let you guys know up front. I did not take any Thredup courses. I have learned everything new from all the new stuff that I'm doing with Thredup. I've either heard it from another YouTuber or on Instagram or something like that. So I've learned it for free off of social media, or it's things that I've learned just over my time sending things to Thredup. So that's what I'm gonna be sharing with you guys today. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking courses, but I personally just don't want to spend the money when I feel like I can get the information for free by trial and error or from social media. A lot of that information is already out there. So I wanted to share some of the things that I have come across. I have actually 5 things that I've started doing that have increased my income substantially on Thredup. So I should have written it down, and I actually don't have my phone on me. Oh, I'm using my phone to film, duh. I'm like, where's my phone? I'm filming on my phone now. Anyways, but I think I made so far around $800 this month. For the month of September on Thredup, and that is really a lot more than what I used to make. Like I said, I was making like, I'd be happy with the $10 a bag. It was more like, I'm just gonna donate this stuff, I might as well see if I can get a few dollars for it, and then I would turn around and use those credits to buy something on their site. But now I have these strategies that are helping me make a lot more money. So let's get into number 1. I'm actually holding a stack of papers here. This is my first tip for you guys, is to make a list. And I just do a packing list, and I include a copy of this in the box for the people at Thredup so they can see that I'm tracking the items that I sent to them, and then I keep a copy for myself. So it's really, really basic. Basically, it just says packing list. It has the date that I packed the bag or the box. It has my email address in case they have any questions about who it belongs to, and then it has the bag number on it. And then I just itemize every single item that I'm sending, and I just give a brief description. I have heard a lot of people saying that they do this and they'll actually put like an MSRP or like the recommended retail price on each item so that Thredup knows what the retail price is, but I don't go through all that trouble. I just try to do this really, really quickly. And then I'll write at the top if I paid expedited or not. I always pay for return service, but I'll write down whether or not I paid for the expedited. The reason you want to do this, I will show you these ones in front. This is all the bags that Thredup has right now of mine. So I have a lot of bags currently there. So the reason that I do this is because they lose items really, really frequently, but you can also keep track of what they're accepting. So here's one, let's do one that has been accepted and I've gotten back. Okay, here's one that has been processed. So after it's processed, I'll highlight every item that they accepted from me. And then like this one here, I haven't got back yet. So these are the items accepted. And if it's not highlighted, I'm expecting to get it back. I have not got this bag returned to me yet. But once I do, I'll go through my return bag and make sure that every item that's not highlighted is returned to me. And I will check it once it's done. Now, there are, like I said, sometimes where Thredup actually will lose items from your bag. Here's one right here. So on this bag, they actually lost 4 items. So I know exactly what was missing. And then I just contact their customer service and I say, I'm missing 4 items, and I'll give the description of what the item is. And then they actually will give you a credit and pay you out for those items as if they had received them. Now they just pay them out at their lower rate, so it's not as good as if they actually did receive it and sold it for you, but at least you're getting something back. So it's really important to keep a log. I've never had an entire box lost, which is really good, but it is good to have this for those reasons. You don't want items to go missing and then you're just out that money. If you have a record of what you sent them, then you can contact them if something were to go wrong. So definitely recommend doing this. I've definitely noticed I'm a lot more organized. I'm able to kind of keep track of what's going to be processed and all of that. So I recommend doing the packing list, and like I said, include a copy for them, because then they can see, like, I'm watching what's in this bag. I don't think that they purposefully lose items, but it does seem like they lose items for whatever reason quite often. So it's really good to have this. Okay, tip number 2. This one I think a lot of people have been talking about, so you might have already heard this information, but this is like honestly the main reason that I'm making more money there is to increase your prices. I'll try to include a little clip of how to do it. It's so easy. Once your bag is accepted, you have the ability to go into that bag and change your prices, and you can price up to 80% of the retail price. So if something is a retail price of $100, you can max out your price at 80, and then you get your payout percentage from there. So I recommend maxing them out. That's what I've been doing. I max out every single price as soon as it is received, and they give you like a 12-hour window to do that. So make sure you're watching your email or watching your app to see when they process your bag, so you get in there in time to do that. But that has made a huge difference. I've had some amazing sales. I'll try to include some of those on the screen here for you as well. I've had some amazing sales at that 80% of retail, and I'm always surprised when something does sell at that maxed out price, but it actually does happen. Now, not every item is gonna sell that high, but you might as well start there and see what kind of sales you can get for those prices, and then start dropping your prices from there. So that is definitely a huge recommendation. Just max them all out. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been working really, really well for me. All right, tip number 3, as far as pricing goes, I did make this a separate tip because it is important, I think, to go ahead and max out those prices and see what you can get, but to also be realistic with your pricing. So not everything is gonna sell for that 80%, like I said. So you are gonna have to keep an eye on your bags. You do have a window of time to sell your items on Thredup. They don't just keep them there forever. So you have 60 days for lower brands like Gap and Express, things like that. If it's like a mall brand, you have 60 days to sell those. If it's a higher end brand, something like Theory, can't think of any other ones off the top of my head. I had a really good Theory sale. That one popped out to me. You know, any higher end designer brand, anything like that. Stuart Weitzman. Why can I not think of any brands right now? I'm tired, guys. Anyways, any high-end brands, you have 90 days. So those brands, you have a little bit more time to sell. So as far as pricing goes, what I do is I give it about a 30-day time frame before I adjust the prices. I will leave it at that 80% for 30 days. And a lot of times, like I said, things do sell there. Once I drop down 30 days, so for like the lower end brands, it gives me 30 days left to sell, and for the higher end brands, it has 60 days left to sell. That's when I start dropping the prices. Now, I don't have like an exact science to how I drop them. I start out kind of smaller amounts. If it's a You know, if it's under like $30, I might drop it only $1 or $2. If it's a higher priced item, I might drop it like $10, $20, but I don't drop a lot. I just kind of do little increments of price dropping, like maybe once a week or so, maybe every 5 to 7 days, and just kind of see how it goes, and things will start selling. So definitely, be conservative with your price drops unless it's something that you're like really wanting to get rid of. And then near the end, I'll kind of drop it to my lowest. When I have like maybe 15 days left to sell an item, I'll drop it to my lowest price that I'm willing to give it, you know, sell it for. And then that's where I leave it. So that's my tip number 3. Tip number 4, this is something that's worked really well for me. Like I said, I always pay for return service, which is $10.99. That's what it costs. And then recently I've been paying for the expedited because it's taking so long, like 3 months, maybe 4 months to process bags right now if you don't pay for expedited processing. So that is another $16 expense. So that adds up. That's like $27 per box. So you really want to make sure you're planning your boxes and what you're putting in the boxes to cover that $27 fee so that you're still making a decent profit off of what you're selling. So what I've noticed is I don't want to send all high-end brands in a box, and I don't want to send all low-end either. I want to have a combination of the two. If I have a decent amount of the lower-end brands, those tend to sell a little bit more quickly, but for low amounts, that will kind of cover my $27 fee. So I kind of throw those items in, like the, you know, a pair of Jessica Simpson jeans or an express top, or you know, those types of things I'll throw into a box to try to cover that $27 fee, and then hope for some of the other higher end items to sell as well so that I can start making a profit. So I try to do a combination of the two. You only have 30 pounds that you can fit in each box, so I try to really be strategic about what I'm putting in there. And I'm also really, really careful about trying to place items that I know they will accept. I used to kind of throw things in like, oh, maybe I'll see if they'll take this. But usually if it's something like that, I notice they don't take it. If it's got a little pilling and I'm like, oh, maybe they'll still take it. Usually they don't. They're very picky. So look your items over really carefully because you don't want to waste any space in that box. You want to make sure as many items as you can are accepted. So try to check everything over really carefully and be strategic about what you're sending. So that has been really helpful for me, is doing that. I've also been recently getting a lot of donations from my local community, so I often put a chunk of those into the box as well because I got that inventory for free. So anything that I make from selling that is automatically you know, income. I don't have to take any cost of goods out, so I'll include some of that as well to help cover that expense of the $27. So hopefully that makes sense. Definitely be strategic and plan out what you're putting in the box. And then my final tip, number 5, is make sure that you're really on top of your boxes, not just for the pricing, but because there is an expiration on things, you need to make sure that you're watching to get your stuff back. You really don't want to lose any items because that will definitely affect what you can make from your items. So make sure you're watching very, very carefully. They give you a very small window. They've changed it recently. I think it's 7 days now. I'd have to double check. But they give you a very small window from the time that the item expires before you can ask for it back. You do have, you can get free shipping if you use your rewards. So if you look on the website, on the app or on the website, you should have some rewards saved up because you get rewards for every box that you send in. So you should have at least a little bit of rewards for just sending items to them, and you can use those to get free shipping to get your items returned. So I try to plan as many boxes expiring at the same time. That's very helpful to send them in groups so that they expire together, and that way you can reclaim as many items together as possible to maximize what you're paying, whether you're using points or paying for the return shipping. You want to try to maximize what you get in that box. So if you use points, it costs 350 points to get the free shipping. And if you don't have points and you want to get your items returned, it will cost you $5.99. So that's why it's really important to reclaim as many together as possible. So for example, I've got some reclaims coming up soon. So I have some items in a bag that are expiring in 7 days. And so anything, once I hit that 7 days, I'm gonna go ahead and reclaim those. I think there's 4 items. And then anything that's expiring within a 7-day window from there, I'm gonna add to it as well so that I can maximize what is going into there and I'm not spending extra money or points that I don't need to. And then once I get those items back, I'm just gonna put them in a box and send them right back to Thredup because a lot of times it takes a couple rounds for things to sell, but you just have to find the right buyer. It doesn't mean it's not going to sell, it just didn't sell in that time window. Also, it could have been a seasonality problem. Maybe the item wasn't quite in season yet. So I always just take those items and package them up and send them right back to Thredup. So those are my top 5 picks. Now, those are my top 5 tips. Now, I definitely want to make some more content related to Thredup. I wanted to do a video actually telling you guys how I decide what to sell myself. Everything behind me right now, these are items I'm selling here myself. And then you can probably see some Thredup boxes back there that I'm prepping to send to Thredup. So if you guys want to see how I decide what goes where, let me know. If you have any other Thredup questions or videos you'd like to see from me regarding Thredup in particular, make sure you let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And that's it for me today. Have a fantastic day, you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.